Hello and good morning. It's Wednesday of week 9 and we're back with more news and more entertainment.
Yes, hello. We have come off 2 weeks of elections and we now have 6 new full-time officers elected. But now it's time to look forward to Campus Fest, which is happening on Saturday.
Yes, that'll be great, won't it?
I'm so excited.
And now in today's show, we'll be joined by Henry Saker-Clark to discuss the news headlines. We'll also have some of the University Glee cast here in the studio with us.
That would be amazing. I'm so excited to speak to them. And we also went down to interview Lisa Nandy, Wigan MP. It's 11 o'clock and you're watching Good Morning Lancaster.
Welcome back, I'm Jessica Beard.
And I'm Justin Chow.
Now we're nearing the end of second term already.
Oh God, that's so soon. I can't believe this.
And campus does seem to be quieting down as students get closer to all the deadlines and the dreaded exams.
Oh no.
And no one's looking forward to them, are they? But it's okay, because LUSU and many societies have been preparing something really exciting, and it's this year's Campus Fest on Saturday.
Yes! Right, it's going to be a huge event on Saturday in County Square. We'll be seeing loads of live acts from a whole range of societies, and there'll be usual like the fireworks show going on. So if you're sick of staring at the inside of the library, then make sure you do head down to County Square. Yes,
that's right. Get down there. Just make sure to go down. Now this week, Sophie and Natasha have been out on the spine, trying to see how many students are looking forward to it. Here's Sophie and Natasha with questions on the spine.
Are you going to Campus Fest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. Yeah, I'm actually performing there too.
No.
This Saturday.
Possibly, yeah. I'll say yes, because my mum's coming up and she's interested in what's going to be happening around campus.
Maybe. That's not a yes or no answer.
Maybe is acceptable. Yeah.
Maybe.
All right, maybe then.
Absolutely. 100%.
Definitely, absolutely.
Probably,
Yeah, I guess yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, I'm working.
Yes, I will be going.
Amazing. And what do you prefer, cats or dogs?
Cats.
Dogs.
Both. Dogs.
Dogs.
Cats.
Cats all the way.
Cats? No, definitely dogs.
I say dogs, but neither in total context, because I'm kind of highly allergic to both of them. Cats.
Cats, obviously.
I'm a dog man.
Dogs.
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 Cats.
Cats.
Dogs.
Dogs.
And that was Questions on the Spine with Natasha and Sophie. Now it's time for the news. A recent report by the Universities and Colleges Union has revealed that Lancaster University Vice-Chancellor Mark E. Smith spent £23,887 on flights last year, making him the 14th highest spending UK university head on airfares. Elsewhere, the report showed that Smith earned £281,000 in 2013-2014, an increase of 3.6% from the previous year, despite vowing to increase tuition fees for international and postgraduate students, as well as increasing on-campus rents. However, a university spokesperson defended these expenses, stating that these flights are a necessary part of the position. He went on to say there were no first-class flights taken. The salary of the Vice-Chancellor reflects the role of the leading a complex and successful international university which contributes millions to the local economy each year.
That's a lot for flights, isn't it?
It is.
That's an awful lot. Anyway, work is taking place on Lancaster University's Health Innovation Campus. The campus, which is being developed on Berwick Lane, on the northern side of the campus, will help people to live longer and healthier lives, thanks to the £7 million government funding. Through the government's growth fund via the Lancaster Enterprise Project, the Innovation Campus, which will provide an integrated approach to healthcare and services for people who are growing older, will develop solutions to problems caused by ageing populations. The campus is a response to a genuine need from the industry, and there will be a strong focus on working with businesses and healthcare providers to make advances in technology, products and services. Speaking last year, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Andrew Atherton admitted that the project was a very significant investment, but believes it will contribute hugely to the regional economy.
Now, after a fortnight of hard campaigning, Lucy's new full-time officer team were elected on Friday in order to decide who will steer the direction of the union next year. Former Finesse President Will Headley was voted to be the new Students' Union President, beating fellow candidates and lovely LA1 presenter Justin Chow by only 18 votes. Headley will take over from current LUSU President Laura Clayson, starting his time in the role in July. Alongside Headley, the vice president positions were also filled. These were Ben Harper, elected as the new VP Education, Natalie Sutcliffe, VP Activities, Katie Capstick, VP Campaigns and Communications, Tom Stapleton, VP Union Development, and Anna Lee, who became VP Welfare and Community. With her election, Anna Lee became the first openly trans woman to be a full-time officer at a UK university. Oh, Justin.
It's okay, it's okay. Well, life will go on. It's got to be fine.
It will, won't it?
Yesterday, LUSU and UCS University of Cumbria Student Union held a question time event in Lancaster Town Hall, giving students of both universities the opportunity to grill potential candidates who will stand in the general election in May. The 6 candidates were Chris Coates from the Green Party, Robin Long of the Liberal Democrats, Kat Smith of Labour, Eric Olorenshaw of the Conservatives, Matt Atkins of UKIP, and Ray Smith of TUSC, Trade Union Socialist Coalition. They answered tough questions from students on issues such as affordable housing, local representation and gender equality. The election will take place in roughly 8 weeks' time on Thursday, the 7th of May.
Now, all he wanted to do was dance, but the bullies wouldn't let him. Now, the internet has come to his rescue. A man who was laughed at so much while he was dancing that he stopped and hung his head in shame has been promised a boogie with 1,000 women after being found by a Twitter campaign. Cassandra Fairbanks started the Find a Dancing Man hashtag after seeing 2 heartbreaking pictures that showed the man change from being happy to sad.
It was just the saddest thing I've seen on Twitter. It was so cute. And then when people actually started tweeting about it in the hashtag, and I was like, oh, this is just brilliant.
People actually wanted to help him. I think it's really nice.
I think it's really nice because he looks like a really lovely guy, and no one should be stopped from dancing. You know, just having a bit of boogie, having a bit of fun.
And where are my manners? I should introduce Henry Sager Clark onto the show.
Thanks.
Hello. So what's happening with all this? The Vice Chancellor.
Yeah.
It's lots of money.
Yeah. Well, one, it's sort of £23,000, isn't it? Which is sort of, when you think about how much we're sort of putting into the university and stuff like that, you do think, where is it all going?
Yeah.
But then the question is, does he have to spend it? Is it a necessary part of his job, as has been said? Obviously, the university is trying to be global, and for example, there's the Ghana campus and there are other campuses in Asia and abroad. So in order to, part of his role means he has to go over, and in order to oversee and see what's happening, then surely going over is part of that. But is £23,000 a year?
It's still quite expensive though. When you come to think of it, £23,000 for flights, and then no first class flights taken. How many trips does he need to take
That's
annually?
the thing. It makes you wonder whether he's actually here a lot of the time.
Yeah, because if you look at flights, sort of like top-end flights to America, you'll be looking around, well, cheapish. It'll be around £900,000, but 23,000 is.
Is that with return then?
Yeah, that's the return. I mean, when I fly
So-
back to Hong Kong, it's around £800 as well. So I mean, there is.
Well, maybe he's just not as good at spotting a deal as you are, just.
Oh, maybe.
I'm a deal finder.
But maybe it is the thing of like sometimes he'll maybe have to go and not know when and things like that. So the monetary side is probably
That's
something that he
true.
doesn't
That's
actually
true.
think about.
Yeah.
I think when it's part of your job, your occupation, the CV's places, and they obviously do. The university has a lot of money. It's probably something they don't really think about. The expenses are something that is probably they don't every moment look at it and do whatever. I think they do what they feel needs to be done, and if it needs to be done, then so be it. But sometimes sometimes they're going to do
Surely
things.
that's between 15 and 20 travels a year, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you've
That's a
also
lot.
there is no breakdown. So for all we know, he might have actually done 10 travels, but whilst he's been there, bought a bottle of champagne whilst he was on every flight. We don't know that. I'm not going to
No.
accuse him.
Well, you never know.
What you did,
Yeah, but there is always the thing of, you know, we don't actually know where that money is going. We just know that is roughly sort of what is being spent on air travel. And, you know, people are always using expensive university for different things, and you just always have to, you know, have trust in them that they're going to use our money wisely, because otherwise, what else are they going to do with it?
And a scan going to be digging any
Yeah.
deeper into this?
There's always. That's what we're all dying to ask.
Yeah, well, it's something that obviously a lot of people have been concerned by, because, you know, we want to know where our money goes, and I think that's something that with the university and with students' union as well is always a major concern to students. If we're paying for stuff, we want to know where our money actually goes and whether or not it's used well. So hopefully we'll be able to, you know, make sure that this is being used as well as it possibly can.
Yeah.
Well, we'll leave it in the safe hand of Scan then.
We will. Now, the full-time elections, the officer elections.
Yeah.
God, Justin,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we have to talk about it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
What was the response to the elected?
A lot of people were relatively happy. Some people were a bit dischuffed, including yourself. But I think generally a lot of people were relatively happy. I think it was one of those ones where I think, you know, I don't think there was anyone who was annoyed by the whole board. I think there were a lot of people who, you know, a couple of people, they would have preferred someone else. But I think that's sort of pretty inevitable anyway. I think
I
there
think
were
you're
some
always
people.
going to have personal issues.
Yeah, I think there were some people who got voted in who no one would possibly disagree with, like, for example, Ben Harper, and some people like that who sort of everyone would just go, yeah, okay, they were sort of, they would do a good job. And there were ones where I and other people felt that whoever was voted in would have done a good job. You might have preferred the other candidate, but it was a choice
Either
between
way.
good and good. So, like you.
Are you me?
Well,
So
you've got to think there are worse people to lose.
Yeah,
to.
there was people to lose, so I would imagine. Yeah.
And I think that Will Hudley will do it.
Oh yeah, he will do a great job. I know this.
Everyone seems fairly confident of that, don't they?
yeah, and a lot of the sort of people as well, they do seem to have the support from the people already in the union.
Yeah.
A lot of people as well, like Will Headley, have been involved in it before, they have experience, and he's also talked to university. So I think a large part of it they're already sort of ready for, and hopefully they can just sort of keep going in the swing of things and not to
So
change
look at the diversity of the actually officers this year, because it's actually quite a diverse group now this year. We've got 3 women officers and 3 men officers, and it's a very diverse group. And what do you think is that going to help bring more diversity into
I think that's good, because
union?
obviously something they've been pushing for the last year or two is the She Should Run campaign, and obviously to see it working as a good sign, and so they can keep the ball rolling. But I also think you say there's a diversity. One of the first things pointed out to me when I saw the people all white. Which, when you consider the university population we have, with so many international students and things like that, you wonder, you know, could an international student have been up there
You're up
as part of the team? So it's that, you know, sometimes it would be better if it did show purely the diverse nature of our university. Yeah, there's only ever been 3 black full-time officers I found out, which is quite an amazing statistic.
That's quite low. But is it really something that's important?
What?
Do you think it's because there is an issue here with people international students not being interested or having the confidence to run?
I think possibly. I think often international students, you'll probably know better than I will, but often international students find it hard to engage with a sort of student political system straight away, because obviously, you know, if you come from a different university or a different background generally, then it's quite hard to get used to these sorts of things. I was talking to someone a while ago actually, and they were like, "Oh, I'm not really used to this because we don't actually have democracy in our country." So it's like sometimes you actually don't really consider what other people are going through, and a bit like, "Oh, why is the voter turnout so low?" It's like, well, maybe they don't actually know well enough about what's happening. But you'd hope that would improve if you did have international students who were on the team, or students who were, you know, knew a lot more about how to engage these sorts of students.
Would you say that over the past year or two we've seen an increase in the awareness of LUSU elections or whatever LUSU does?
Yeah, possibly. I do think, I don't know, I think people are constantly getting engaged. I think voter turnout this year was relatively good, but it's been better. So I do think, I think it's one of those things we always just have to sort of keep talking about, and it's going to keep sort people are going to keep noticing. They've done quite a lot this year in terms of being about him as squaring and talking to people, which is always good. And a lot of them have said that is one of the main things for their campaign. For example, I know Tom Stapleton, one thing he said was, first thing he's going to do is talk to people and see what they actually want, because otherwise if you just go ahead and do stuff, all you're going to do is make people more disenfranchised because you're not actually doing what they want to happen.
Yeah, that's very true, yeah.
It is nice to see people getting more engaged, and there were more candidates than last year, weren't there?
There are actually
There
more.
were quite a few.
But at least sort of 4 initially were in sort of every role in the end, apart from I think welfare, someone dropped out. But there were so many people involved. I think there was at least sort of 5 maybe less than last year. So it was quite good to see a lot of people nominating themselves and going out and campaigning and trying to get to know students. And the thing as well was they were, it's not that just that there were more candidates, but there were good candidates. And it makes you think that there are a lot of people who probably would be good for the roles. Who do they just not know about it, or do they not have a confidence or things like that? So as long as we make these leadership roles an opportunity for everyone, then hopefully we can see more diversity and more different people going for the position.
So would you say that next year is shaping up to be a good year for Lucy?
Hopefully.
Yeah?
I don't know. I'm not going to be here. Yeah, hopefully. Anyway, so we'll see what happens, and I think the team should work quite well.
Yeah, I think they will be a good team. Will's a good leader, so we can all leave it in safe hands. I think it's going to be good.
Work well together, I think.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us
No problem.
today. And as the general election gets closer and closer, political figures have been taking an interest in our campus, haven't they? We've seen more and more of them here. Lisa Nandy, Wigan MP and Shadow Minister for Civil Service came for a visit.
Yes, that's right. She came up to Lancaster last minute in place of Harriet Harman, Deputy Labour leader, who was called back into Parliament last minute. She came to the university to speak to the parents on campus who are raising children in the university environment and listen to the difficulties and the challenges they face.
And here's Lizzie McGee speaking with Lisa Nandy.
I'm here with the Right Honourable Shadow Minister for Civil Society and MP for Wigan, Lisa Nandy. Lisa, thank you for coming today. You're here on behalf of Harriet Harman to talk about your Women to Women manifesto. Could you tell me a little bit about that, please?
Well, over the last few years, we've seen women's voices really shut out of national debate. We've had a real drop in the number of women in the cabinet. 85% of the tax and benefit cuts that have been made in the last 5 years have impacted on women rather than men. We've been really, really concerned that we're turning the clock back. So we've taken to the streets in different towns and cities in this pink bus that's had so much coverage, and we're determined to get onto women's territory, listen to them about the things that concern them, and then write a women's manifesto that sets out what the future Labour government would do for women. And that's what we've been doing here today. We've particularly been discussing childcare because it matters so much to many student parents on campus and also parents who work here as well. And we've heard so many things today that we're going to take away and try and make a reality in 70 days' time.
I hope this focus group's been really helpful for you. I mean, even it is 2015, and from the points that we've heard today, do you still think that childcare and the issues surrounding childcare are one of the reasons why women don't put themselves forward for the important roles, the CEOs, the MPs? I mean, you yourself, you said is it 6 weeks you're due in? How are you feeling about this, being going back to work and the facilities that are in work? Do you think it's enough for women out there?
Yeah, I mean, even just this week we had a Tory MP that told one of my colleagues, Rachel Reeves, the Shadow Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, that women shouldn't be expecting to be in a cabinet because if they're having children they need to make sure that they can handle it, and that was his quote.
Really?
So these sorts of attitudes, it seems, are alive and well in society, and what we heard from women here is that isn't just in Parliament and in politics. Actually, these sorts of attitudes exist in workplaces around the country. We heard about women feeling really uncomfortable trying to breastfeed or trying to find child-family places, friendly eating places on campus and around Lancaster. We heard about women trying to get back into the workplace and finding that they had to go in on a lower grade or being paid less. This sort of stigma and discrimination seems to still exist right across society, and the truth is that unless you have a government that's committed to tackling it, it's not going to change.
And you're talking about this stigma where, it is that old saying, women belong in the kitchen, men are going out to earn the money. Do you think, though, that these back to work schemes that do exist currently, University are any good with the current prices of childcare as it stands?
Well, there's a huge problem about the availability of childcare. It's one of the reasons we said we'd open up Sure Start centres, we'd ask primary schools to provide wraparound care from 8 till 6 for working parents, and that we would fund more places as well for 3 and 4-year-olds. But there's another issue as well, which is that many dads and mums are finding that it's virtually impossible for them to make flexible choices that work for their own families. So we heard from a dad who would like to be able to spend more time with his 6-week-old child, but he can't because the pay gap between him and his partner is so big. So there are bigger issues that we have to tackle, and we have committed to tackling, like the gender pay gap, which 44 years after the legislation, the Equal Pay Act, still exists. Women earn 81 pence on average for every pound that men earn, and until you tackle things like that, it's no use saying to families, well, the dad can take the time off and the mum can go back to work if that's what they want, because most families can't afford it.
It is a sad fact that women are underrepresented in the bigger roles in society. How are you feeling about some of the criticisms from your Women to Women campaign, your Pink Bus, and that some are saying that it's actually positive discrimination and that's actually quite offensive towards men? Do you think it's needed, you know, for equal rights? But
well, I mean, the colour of the bus is basically an eye-catching colour. We used it at a party conference. It was the backdrop to our entire party conference. And the colour of the bus isn't really the point. The point is to get out of the Westminster bubble, which is still very, very dominated by male voices, men in the cabinet, men in Parliament, men making decisions that disproportionately affect women. To get out of that Westminster bubble and find out from women what they want to see from a future government. And that's what we're determined to do. And at the end of this process, there will be a manifesto that is written with and for women that we will deliver in government in 70 days' time if we get elected.
And a final question, thank you for your time. How does Labour feel about other student and university issues? So, for example, the increase in tuition fees, the rising increase in the rent prices both on and off campus. And this is a debate at the minute that Lancaster University especially is dealing with. Do you think things like that, as well as the possibility to start a family, is putting students from going to university?
Yeah, well, actually I was here a few weeks ago with Kat Smith, who's the Labour candidate, because there were so many students who were concerned about the rising living costs, tuition fees. One of the things that they told us is that tuition fees is a real issue, and actually cutting tuition fees would make a really big difference. But what would make a big difference as well is about making sure that the maintenance grant works for students, that it's extended, introduced to more students, and that it actually works for people's variety of family circumstances. At the moment, there are a lot of people who are very put off by coming, not just by the debt that you would get afterwards, but actually by the pressure of trying to exist as a student and do well on your course without any real guarantee of a job afterwards, just day-to-day living costs and that sort of thing. So that's what we've been looking at very strongly, and one of the reasons that Kat invited me here was to hear that from students as well, and we've heard it loud and clear. We'll take that away, and there will be plans that we'll announce in the next few weeks around that.
You heard it here first. Is there any final remarks you'd like to say to students that Labour will be pushing in the next general election?
I think just that the lesson from today, we had a really fantastic turnout. We had women and men standing up, voicing their views about the way that they want to see their university, their town, their country change. It's the only way we're going to get change in this country. There are 1 million people who fell off the ballot paper between 2010 and this election. To say to people, make sure you sign up to vote. Don't assume that you're going to be able to do it, because even if you could do it last time, you might not be able to do it this time. Just make sure that your voice is heard in this election. It's the most important general election for a generation, and it will only change if you make it happen.
Thank you, Lisa, and good luck with the election, and good luck with your pregnancy. Thank you very much.
Well, actually, that was really interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was actually interesting to hear her, about these issues and people actually here who have children. And it's so easy to think that issues on campus are not, they just affect young students who don't have children, but actually there are a lot of issues that parents who are on campus are facing as well.
You tend to forget that there are parents on campus, don't you? Because you don't see many children running around. So it's not something that really comes to mind, but it is a very good thing for her to be coming to do, and it was also good of her to step in as soon as Harriet Harman cancelled last minute.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Anyway, soon we'll be joined by some of the members of Lancaster University Glee cast, and actually they'll be one of the acts performing at Campus Fest on Saturday. Now before they come on, we've got a short video of them performing a rendition of Take Me to Church by Hosier.
My love has got humor. She's a giggle at a funeral. Was everybody's disapproval. I should have worshipped her sooner.
If the heavens ever did speak, she's the last true mouthpiece. Every sun is getting more bleak. A fresh poison each week. We were born sick, you heard them say it.
My church offers no absolutes. She tells me worship in the bedroom.
The only heaven I'll be sent to is when I'm alone with you. I was born sick, but I love it. Command me to be well. Amen. 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 Take me to church, I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your life. I'll tell you my sins so you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Good God, let me give you my life. Take me to church, I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your life. I'll tell you my sins so you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that deathless death. Good God, let me give you my life.
And that was great to hear some of those brilliant voices. And we've got one of them here with us. It's the Glee Club. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm
Hi there.
good.
Yeah?
We're good, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Now, you've got a really big performance coming up, haven't you, at Campus Fest?
Yeah, we've got Campus Fest coming up. We're really excited.
Yeah, can't wait. We've been rehearsing sort of all this week, trying to get ready, organising our set list.
You
It's gonna be a
feeling
good
ready?
performance.
You
I
getting
think
there?
so.
Yeah?
Getting there?
Yeah, like I said, doing lots of rehearsal time, trying to really fine tune all of our songs.
Okay, so
yeah.
how are the new members this year then? So obviously you had your new sort of batch of members from October, and how are they dealing with it this year? Are they enjoying it? Are they in there?
Yeah, so they seem to be coping fine. As a choir, kind of all the voices kind of blend together, but occasionally we'll have solos where we try and bring out the individual voices. And
We had quite a few people sort of saying, oh, like, yeah, I'm happy to do the solo or like little group things, which is really nice. Sort of building up their confidence in that way, which is good fun.
That's really good. So what sort of music are you guys doing this year then? Like, I know a couple previous years there has been sort of like a top 40 theme to the songs that they did, but what's the theme this year? What sort of music genre have you been dabbling in?
We've tried to branch out a little bit
Yeah.
and do a few different things.
yeah, so generally we do sort of the top 40 and the quite mainstream, but we had our hustings a few weeks ago, and that's kind of, it's changed the musical style a little bit, which it does sort of do every year. And yeah, we're going into more sort of older songs. For our set list this year, some of the songs we're doing is like Hold Back the we are doing Hold Back the River.
We're doing Take Me to Church, which we did at our changeover concert.
Yeah.
So that's like quite a top 40-ish one. But we're also doing What You Know by Tudor.
Cinema
Club, yeah.
Okay, so a bit of a mix. What time can we find you?
Our slot is 6:25.
Yeah,
until
6:25.
So it's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
Loads of people will be in the square.
Oh, prime time.
Yeah, we're really happy with the slot. We're very excited.
Do you get nervous at all? Do you have many members that are kind of worried about it?
I think some of the newer members are a bit nervous, but we've done quite a few concerts building up to it. Like we did the Christmas markets and we did the Cartmel Thanksgiving, and we had our own changeover of exec concert at Pendle. So I think we've slowly built them up to bigger things.
So getting kind of used to it
Yeah.
then, because it's quite nice to see you performing with other societies as well either side of your slot. Yeah, it should be great to see.
Great.
Yeah.
Right, bit of a silly question. Do you guys compare your own members to like the Glee show and see whether you can find people who are matching?
Not usually, no.
I've actually never seen the Glee TV show.
Have you not?
Despite being part of Glee Society, we're just like, we're not. We try and disassociate ourselves because it's got quite a cheesy vibe. We just want to be more about like musicians and singers. We've tried really hard this year to build up our sort of musician
repertoire.
Yeah.
Yeah, to try and get sort of a lot of guitarists and bass players and drummers all
We have
involved.
drummer now. It's very exciting.
Oh, how exciting.
Oh, so you play a bit of your own music. Jack, what do you play?
Yeah, so I'm on piano. For Campus Fest, we will have, I think we've got me on piano, guitarist and drummer, so it's almost a full band.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
But we generally play during rehearsals.
Yeah, we've
with
always
that.
got like loads of amps and instruments and stuff. We do all our own sort of backing music to
Yeah.
everything. Like we don't use backing tracks at all. It's all music that we've put together.
Is that how you practice then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It must be more challenging, surely, than just using
Yeah.
background music.
Yeah.
So occasionally as we're learning a song for the first time, we might play the song and then sort of sing along, and then the musicians will play along.
Yeah.
And then sort of after a couple of times we'll take it away, and then it'll usually just sort of flow.
You kind of just like build up, like
Yeah.
work up towards adding the musicians in and just go through it bit by bit.
And you're at a point where you're ready now then?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, I think everyone's looking forward to it.
I'm really excited to see you guys now.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today. So coming up on campus this week, tonight sees live at the Oak in County Bar.
And Thursday is Pendle Live. It's also board games night at the Red Line in Lonsdale.
Boring Lonsdale.
Oh.
And Saturday is the events of the term, Campus Fest. So be sure to head down to County Square from 1 p.m. till 8. I'm sure we'll see you guys there.
And finally, please remember to register to vote to have your say in the May general elections.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week for more Good Morning Lancaster.
Bye.